Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics Game Day Squad preview show ahead of round 22. And yes, I did say 22. I said that in the videos all week. Cannot believe we've only got 3 rounds to go of the AFL Fantasy season for Game Day Squad and across all other platforms. And then we'll be hitting finals, which will be good fun, especially this year as a Crows fan. I can finally say that now because we officially qualified for finals. But I'm your host, Bales. You can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow Game Day Squad fanatic. It is Tom. Tom, mate, how are you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, good, mate. Pretty good week on the track. A little disappointed. Feel like I made a couple of mistakes. Just some calls that I guess seemed 50-50 at the time, but they almost ended up being about 90-10. So that really stings when you're on the wrong end of some decisions. But overall, mate, pretty good week on the track. Had a great weekend, and you're right. Pretty close to the end of the year. As a Swans fan, I'm feeling a little different. I'm sort of glad this year's coming to an end. I just want to look past this one with all the injuries and everything and just load up for next. But nonetheless, yeah, only a couple of rounds left, and then we got the finals comp. So it doesn't stop here, mate. We'll be flying in.
Yeah, exactly. Clean slate. She doesn't count for the Swans. Just go straight through the next year and write the year off. But we do have a very special guest. First one we've got on the show this year, Tom. So good friend of the show. It is Mark from GameDay Society. Mark, mate, how are you? Good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pretty busy time of year with all the new competitions starting, but I'm still very, very keen on the AFL and hoping to sneak into the prize card still, but who knows, it's getting tight.
Yep, exactly. And as I was saying to you before we started recording as well, it's like the AFL and the NRL are coming to an end, and then we'll get finals, but then we got the EPL starting, we got the AFLW starting, we'll have the NBL sooner enough starting as well, the Big Bash. And then before you know it, AFL, NRL, and even the IPL will be back on starting again. So plenty to be going on at Game Day Squad. So if you guys haven't signed up, I do implore you guys to sign up if you haven't already. GameDaySquad.com.au and use the code BAILSDT at sign up, and you get yourself some free packs for whatever sport you pick. You can be whatever, you can do AFL, and you can get your club started for, well, you just have a bit of fun for the last bit of this year or go into next year, or you could choose any of the new sports that's starting. So make sure you use the code BAILSDT at sign up. And the best thing about it, Tom, and I know that you love to say this, it is what?
Free to play.
Game Day Squad
is that the one?
Yep, there you go. Yeah, exactly right. Free to play. So we love it. But quick recap, boys, just on the last weekend. So Mark, we'll start with you, mate. How did you go across the comps, and where are you currently ranked at the moment?
I went all right last week. In the top competition in Champion, I think I came 4th in the end, which was just outside of the money, but still, pretty happy with that. Classic, the other main competition I play, I finished outside the top 10, I think it was, but I made one crucial mistake, which actually cost me the win because I know. I thought I saw Rosie was laid out, right? And I was like, oh yeah, didn't play him this week, no problem. But turns out I did still have him in my classic side, and the only probably player I would have been able to bring in was Hewitt. So if I brought in Hewitt, I would have had enough points to win. So that's devastating, but just probably a lesson there for everyone.
Or maybe Sarong. Well, I know a lot of people went to Sarong as well. It didn't really work out too great. But that's no good.
Yeah, but you learn. No one to blame but myself. So
yeah,
we move on. And overall, I think I'm sitting about 15th or so, maybe a bit deeper now after last week in both the champion and classic comps.
Yeah, nice. Well, I guess that's the thing with fantasy squads, right? Is all we can blame is ourselves, or we can blame the reporter for talking to Ginnivan.
Are we the reporters now, though?
Yeah, no. The reporter talking to Ginnivan and wasn't even checking about Port. And if the captain was there at the airport, I couldn't believe it. I sort of was like, I actually didn't mind the whole Ginnivan thing. I thought it was quite funny there, but maybe we're not looking at players when they're trying to get on the plane, trying to get out after a loss. But Tom, mate, how did you go last week?
Yeah, pretty good, man. In Classic, for the round, what did I finish? I finished 43rd. As I said, I wasn't too far away, honestly. I had a pretty solid round. One of the big decisions I made was fading Grundy because of the weather. Huge mistake in the end. I also faded Goulden, which He had 135, but I did have other good mids, so it's not like it cost me a lot of points, but that decision in particular did. I'm sitting 21st in the seasonal. I've been at 21st, or I had a moment where I was in 20th, so I'm so close to being in that prize card range. I'm only 160 points off mark here in the show, and Bales, you've had a pretty good end to this season, so we were pretty close, but you're definitely running away with it and almost in the top, which has been fantastic for you. In the contender, though, been doing a little better. I am sitting second. There's a cheeky bastard at first. I'm sure he'll explain a little later who's there. But for the round, I finished 12th as well. So pretty good. I feel like so what I do in Classic is I feel like I make the better lineup in Classic. In all my 50-50s, I go the other way in contender. And it appears that pretty much since contender started, I'm doing better in contender with my making. So I might need to flip it around this week.
Yep. So whatever decision you think about making, flip it.
Do the opposite. Yeah. I'm gonna set the both squads as I normally would, and then I'm gonna transfer them over. I'm just gonna switch them right before the round starts.
Oh, if you've got more salary, there'll be some funky business going on there, mate. Might have to make an inquiry to Cal if you got some extra salary on your players. Yeah, for me, across the comp, so start obviously the one I don't take as seriously, but 25.64, so 119th for the week. We normally do have a little bit of fun over there with a few different pods and that. Classic 26 for the week. I think not having Grundy probably was a big reason why wasn't in the top 20. And then contender, 4th for the week, which the reason that is good is 4th for the week is that I extended my lead. I had to first, but you're second, mate. So we're now number 1 and 2 for contender at the moment. So pretty happy with that, sitting on top. And hopefully we can continue on the rise. And then in Classic, up to 8th now. So I think I was 9th or 10th last week. So a couple of other spots up, which is really nice. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can hold on to a prize card in some competition or another. But
For
boys,
sure.
we've got another round of footy to get into. So we'll get started with Thursday night footy, which the teams come out in 10 minutes. So we will quickly run through the games and then we'll come back quickly if there's any major sort of team news or anything like that. So we'll start off with a big game of footy on Thursday night, which is Hawthorn and Collingwood. And we'll go to our guest, as always, first. And Mark, who are you keen on or not keen on from this one?
I think Dacos is going to, or Nick, surely is going to, he had a bit of a quiet week last week for his standards. So I think he'll come good and, go 150, I'm calling.
Yeah. You don't normally see Nick Dacos have two subpar games in a row. So I would imagine that he'll go ahead and have a pretty good game. So I like that shout. Tom, for you?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I do have Nick Dacos in there. I'm not actually putting too much salary cap, but I'm going to go with fading a particular player, let's say. And I actually started him last week over Grundy, which ended up being a very, very bad mistake. It's Darcy Cameron. Again, I know I mentioned him a couple of rounds ago. But I saw the news of Mick and Ernie being out, and I thought, you know what, this is just an opportunity for him to just eat. He's had such a fantastic year. He's definitely in the all-star sort of race and in consideration for the season, but man, played pretty poor last week. His average has dropped a good 2 or 3 points over the past 5 weeks in particular. So definitely in terms of the season overall, he's definitely in a lull in comparison to how he started. But against Hawthorn and with how other rucks are going in the competition, I know you can look at the average and he has the 3rd highest, the 5th highest, and you could think, well, that's fantastic. Let's get him in. He could dominate. But me personally, I'm going to be fading. They're just other rucks in way too good a form. And Darcy Cameron hurt me last round, so I won't be starting him again this week.
Yeah. So who were your rucks last week? You didn't have Grundy, so you had Cameron and who?
Gone.
Oh, so you didn't have Marshall either.
No. And Marshall also went really. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it stung big time doing the Darcy Cameron decision. Because if I went Marshall, it would have been fine. But I didn't. I didn't do either. And it sort of cost me. But that's okay.
Mate, it was my lock of the week. I knew it was coming. Max Heath came in, didn't matter. He was just going to go big regardless.
You did say that as well, actually. You said if Heath comes in, I don't know if I'm confident about it. But
yeah, I still played him, actually, fun enough. But I was pretty happy with the score from Big Roma in the end. Hawthorn Collingwood, there's not much else really besides the two guys you've mentioned. The only other real guy, I think Josh Dacos, it's hard to start him in game day squad because he's a mid only. Like next year, he'll be a defender and he'll probably be a very good play
So good.
every now and again. But midfield, it's tough when there's some good matchups going around as well. The only other guy I guess I could mention would be Dylan Moore. Just don't think I'm going there. It's just too up and down. Collingwood's not a great matchup. Like he could pop a good score, but you're taking a bit of a punt. You're not really sort of looking at going, like Jeremy Cameron's got the Bombers, like you go on there, or you've got a Baz who's a lock every week, or a Matt Kennedy or whatever. Like it's a bit hard to rely on Dylan Moore week to week, but hopefully you can pop a score if you do chuck him in there. So we'll come back to the teams very shortly because they will be coming out very soon. But we'll go to Friday night footy, Geelong and Essendon. And I dare say, I think all three of us are going to be going with players that we're keen on, or maybe one player we're not keen on. But Mark, who are you keen on from this one? Because this could be a big win. I'm looking here, $1.01 for Geelong, $21 for the Bombers.
Jeez. Look, I'm just trying to work out how many Geelong forwards I can squeeze into my team without it being too much. I think Manor is the one that I'm probably more interested in, just because he'd probably be a little bit more unique than the other ones. Jez is probably going to be in every side this week. Smith's in every side every week, but Manor might just get you a little bit ahead, I think. What about you guys?
Yep, I really, really like that shout. He's unique because he just doesn't get packed, and people are trying to get him. And I think this is a great matchup to play Manor. Tom, who are you keen on, or not so keen on?
Yeah, look, I've just been super impressed with this guy's season, and I think that we've only got a couple of rounds left of having him as a defender. He inevitably will become a midfielder next year. So it's just all the reason to put as much salary cap as you can in whatever competition you're in on Max Holmes. He's been in some insane form. He's been on fire. At the start of the year, we spoke last week, Bales, he's had some injury concerns and he was coming back, and we saw this sort of fluctuation between scores of 150 and then 80 and then 140 and then 70, and we're thinking, what can we do? How are we going to pick which rounds to put Max Holmes in? But he is leveled out big time, and he is just on fire. It's one of the best matchups you can possibly have. It's at their home for his position. So, mate, I'm super confident in starting him. He had 164 points as my gold and 198 in back-to-back rounds. So I'm starting my gold and my classic, and I will be getting one in contender as well. So it's almost like it's a cheat code just having him at the moment. He's so good.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He's getting it done, and he's in some really, really good form. So good to see. I've got him as well. I think a lot of people have him. The guy, sure. I shouted him out last week. So I think everyone's going to start Jezza because GameDay Squad, you get the extra points for the goal, extra point for a kick. We're just starting him, right? The one guy, I mentioned Tom last week when we were chatting about Geelong, and I feel like Manor, we don't talk about it obviously enough because of he's just a bit more unique. But the other guy we don't talk about that is having a very good season is his other forward teammate in Brian Myers. He's getting CBAs now, which is a big factor in his scoring boost. Had a big game last week. There's still that bug that where I can't see the previous scores on the AFL.
142 last round.
Yeah, there you go. 142 last week was just very, very good with CBAs, and comes up against Essendon this week. He hasn't been getting a lot of marks, but I feel like a game is coming where he's going to have double-digit marks and have like 10 marks. And I think this could be the game where he just absolutely racks it up, maybe kicks a goal or two. He's going to get playing the midfield, to get the tackles, because he's got the tackles in the midfield, which is raising his floor. I think he's just a very safe play in the forward line, and someone I'd be definitely considering I'd be definitely putting in your squad with the matchup this week. That's for sure. Moving over to Saturday and another fantasy-friendly game here, Richmond and St Kilda at the MCG. Normally these ones are at Marvel, but Richmond home game, it is the MCG. But Mark, who are you keen on or not so keen on?
Oh, well, I mean, Nas is the obvious one, but I think Sinclair is someone who probably goes a bit unnoticed at the moment. Like, I think you guys were talking about it on the show last week, or maybe Cal and Tom, about how Sinclair is just sneakily getting big scores every week, but just because they're sitting just behind Nas, he's not getting much attention. So I think he would be my number one pick.
Yeah, had a lower one last week, but copped some attention from Constanti, which I didn't really expect coming, but I sort of thought, Constanti does a job or two. But no marks for Sinclair, but still had an okay score considering. But yeah, I think he racks up in this game here. I think he had his season high score or second season high score against Richmond earlier this year. So I think he's in for a big game. Tom, how about you?
I reckon you go first because I have a feeling I might steal yours, and I do have a backup. So,
who would that be? Potentially
we
Big Ruckman?
we do this to each other a lot. So I'm gonna, you go first.
Yeah, Big Ruckman. Got to go for my mate, Big Ryan Marshall. I'm pretty keen on him this week. Richmond's a great matchup for Rucks, as we know, and I think that the most important thing last week, I think that one thing that I didn't even chat about on the pods throughout the week. So Marshall had a 160 last week. Just he fills the stat lines like 24 disposals, 15 kicks. We love to see it. 6 marks, 5 tackles, 32 hit-outs. Like, it's just great, right? But if you look at his CBAs last week, that was the thing that actually got me quite interested, that even though Max Heath was in, we'd been seeing a lot more of a ruck share. But last week, Marshall had 20 CBAs to Max Heath 3. That was really good to see that a lot of the CBAs went back to Ryan Marshall. So maybe Heath is just going to be in there now just to be a forward and not really do much rucking. And he'll be like the traditional, like 20%, 15% ruck throughout the game as well. So that is good to see. And I hope that Marshall does continue on that, because when he's rucking that much and he's able to play against good matchups like Cherryless, North Melbourne last week, Richmond this week, who he went pretty well against with over a 130 earlier this year. I think he goes well again. And I'm just having a quick look here as well. I believe last week, boys, was the first week for Ryan Marshall since round 1 where he didn't give a free kick away. So I've been calling for it, Tom. You know this. I've called every week. He does it 2 or 3 times a game, and it annoys the hell out of me. I know GameDay Squad's only -2 points, but still, that's 2 points. That could be a difference when you're winning some packs or some GameDay Squad funds for a week. But it's good to see 0 free kicks against there. Yep. So, shout out to Big Rowan Marshall. Let's move over to the next game, and that is your boys, Tom. The Swans making the trek up to the...
You skipped me.
Oh, yes. No. Sorry, mate, because I'm so used to going last. Sorry, go ahead.
You're
Sorry,
right.
mate.
I'm going to keep it quick. It's a huge fade, by the way. It's Jack McRae. Plays in midfield for the Saints. I'm fading Jack McRae this round. He was my backup. Over the past 4 rounds, he hasn't had a single game where he's gone over 60% CBAs. And last week, we saw Jack Steele sitting with the vest on. So if you got your number 1 midfielder not even playing and you can't see an uptick in CBAs, then goodness gracious, something has changed. Something is definitely on the decline. And his scores is exactly what is on the decline because of it. At the start of the year, he was just eating up points. He was getting 90% time CBAs plus in some of the matchups where we've seen a very big regression in that sense. Don't know what's happening. Maybe they're turning him down to get him ready for the tail end of the year, but I don't know. It's completely changed, and his average looks really good, but I will be fading him this round, hoping others will start him, just looking at the average in particular.
And then the matchup, the Richmond matchup as well. Mark, were you going to say something there?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I've actually had a quick look, and I think I actually want to change my pick for this game. And it's going to be something controversial. It probably goes against what you were saying, Bales, but I think Nank will outscore Marshall this week.
You know what? I don't think it's a spice take at all. I think it's actually a good take, because if people have seen St Kilda and Richmond games in the past, Marshall and Nank they shake hands at the start and go, mate, let's go. And then they both score a heap of fantasy points for us. I think was it a game last year in Gather Round at Norwood Oval? They both went over 150 in GameDay Squad. They just went, let's go. So, I don't mind that she has a bit of a pod in the ruck as well, because there's a few trickier matchups for some of the rucks this week. But to your point, Tom McRae, game time over the last 3 weeks, he'd been a guy that was around that high 70s, low 80s. Last 3 game time on ground, 63, 71, 66. That's not
it's not the upside you're looking for, is it? Yeah. So
no, exactly. And it wouldn't shock me if he was a sub this week, because we heard Saints Nation chat to them on Twitter. They were saying that they reckon that Jack McRae could have been sub last week, end up going to Steele. If Steele is good to go, which Ross Lyons said post game, she should be fine and won't be sub next week. McRae, it wouldn't shock me if he was. Maybe they're trying to give some game time to some younger guys. So just something to watch out for. But it is an early game, so you will know if you're playing McRae in your side. But Tom, was probably good. Actually, we went back to you as well. Apologies again for that. But we did have the teams for Thursday night. for Hawthorn and Collingwood. So not too much from a fantasy standpoint. Hawthorn, Luke Bruce and Chanquith Jath come in. Harry Morrison, is out injured and Will Day's out injured. So they're still sticking with the 4 tools. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes again. And then Collingwood bring in Billy Frampton, Tom Mitchell, and Jeremy House. Jeremy Howe big in for Collingwood there. Charlie Dean's been dropped. Bobby Hill is out with illness, and Oleg Markov is being dropped as well. So no real fantasy sort of implications, I don't think, there too much, which is good to see. But Tom, we will revisit this. Going back to your Swans, who are travelling up to the Gabba to play Brisbane and trying to play a bit of spoilers, I reckon, for that top 4, top 8 for Brisbane. So, Mark, who are you keen on or not so keen on from this one?
Yeah, I'm fading Zorko this week. He's
nice.
I don't know. He's just been a bit underwhelming, I think. So I don't know if he's not 100% or what, but he's just not getting those big scores, and I need that.
Yeah, he's playing injured at the moment. He's I think it was last week or the week before they said he was dealing with Liz Frank injury, like management. So I hadn't completely flared up, but it was like it's something he's going to manage the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm out on Zorko, I think, until we hear Brisbane come out and say he's over it now and good to go.
Totally
so
agree.
Yeah, really good shout.
Well.
Tom?
Tell you who I faded last round because it was raining. And by the way, it is going to be raining. I do live up here in the Gold Coast. This weekend is meant to be wet. So this is at the Gabba. It's most likely going to be rain, right? So definitely have that in mind when you're making your squads. But it didn't really impact Errol Goulden too much, did it? 135 fantasy points. I ended up sort of making that my big fade of the round. It was my boy, the guy that I love, the guy I look up to. Sorry, so Errol, firstly, apologies. I'll never do that again. I've learnt my lesson. Secondly, you're straight back in, mate. I can't do that to you again. He had 135 fantasy points, and he had 120 the week before. So even in matchups where, it is wet, and I really thought he relied on, his mark and kicking ability, but he just found ways to score, and he's got a goal early, and that always helps. So he's elite. He's so good, and I think he's going to have another good game this round. So pretty safe play because he's got such a high floor.
Yep. Good shout there. We've seen him go well in the wet anyway. So yeah, I don't mind that shout there.
Mistake, mate.
I'm gonna go for another one of your boys, Tom. This guy, he's the ruck pig. He is an absolute machine. Brodie Grundy, I think he's a lock. You can't not have him. Lock. He's got Brisbane this week. I wonder if McInerney comes back in.
Is the big guy even going to be playing? Which could
That's what I mean.
Better.
Even if McInerney's there, I don't think it matters. If McInerney's not there, you put salary on Grundy because I think he's going big. 164 last week with 39 disposals. And no, he's not a midfielder. He's a ruckman. It's the most disposals ever recorded by a ruckman in a game. And Tom, since round 9, he's averaging over 140 game day squad points since round 9. That is obscene. Like it's amazing. Like we love the ruck pig. Like he's going great. We look at like Nasai for the seasons, averaging 137.9. Nick Dacos, averaging 130.2. Jordan Dawson, 128.8. Like, Brodie Grundy is performing from round 9 well clear of most people. It is very, very good as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely playing him for sure. Moving over to the Saturday night games. So, we've got a couple of games here. So, Carlton and Gold Coast. So, Mark, who are you keen on or not keen on?
Probably not the smartest decision, but I'm fading Matt Rowell this week. Obviously in great form.
Ooh,
but
spicy.
We're kind of getting to that pointy end of the season where you have to make like controversial picks to get ahead. You can't just have the same side as everyone else. So he's going to be a popular pick. So I'm going to take a risk and go without him. Sounds like it's going to be wet though. So that could, I don't know, scrappy tackling game might be all right for him.
Oh, it is under the roof at Marvel.
Under the roof.
So
right.
it is in Melbourne this week.
Apologies.
Yeah. I thought it was at Gold Coast.
I
thought the same thing. I thought it was at Gold Coast as well, but no, it is down at under the roof. So maybe not.
Oh, no, I'll stick with it.
Yeah, don't mind it though, because if he doesn't tackle, he doesn't obviously get too many marks, so he might put a lower score out. Tom,
gonna fade his partner in crime in Noah Anderson. I started him last week. He's in pretty good form, but we were talking about it before the show, Bales. There's probably a little bit of attention that's going to be given to a midfielder in this game. And your sort of take on it was, and I totally agree, is how do you tag Matt Rowell? because his game is just so. It's like he already has a tag on him. It's just contested footy. He's just in and amongst it. Like, how much extra pressure can you put on someone like that? I don't think there's too much again. So I do think it impacts someone like Noah more, hence why I think they make that call, because you can limit Noah's game by running with him, by putting a body on him and just not giving him easy pill, whereas I think it's a little harder to do that to Matty Rouse. So because of that, I'm going to fade Noah because I think he gets attention as their captain.
Yeah. And literally right there, he's a captain, right? They're going to try and stop him. They're talking about him and Dawson as the All-Australian captain. So, like, when you talk in the media a bit, you're like, yeah, let's shut him down. So I think it's a good call there. I don't currently have Noah in my side. But one guy I do have, John Noble, been a sneaky good player this year for Gold Coast. He's getting it done, average of 113.3 for the season. And last week was good again. Had a bit of a slow start against Richmond, but had a score of, I'm just popping up the score here. John Noble, 125 last week, and keeps getting it done under the roof at Marvel. I think he has a pretty good game against Carlton with no Dan Rioli there. Moving over to the other Saturday night game, Port Adelaide and Freo. Mark, who are you keen on or not so keen on?
I think Jackson goes big.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Love it.
Yeah. I think he's, ruck matchup, not too bad. Forward swings, going to go probably kick a bag. I think he's going to go, he's probably my second or third pick forward for the week behind some of the Geelong boys.
Yeah, I like it. And you said forward bag, ruck bag, but also he might just rack up touches in the midfield because he just loves having CBAs as a midfielder. So he is a unicorn, that is for sure. Tom?
Going to keep it pretty vanilla, I guess you could call it. I'm going with Andy Brayshaw. He's been a little disappointing, and I think he's one of the players that not only am I going to back in to sort of bounce back and have a big game, but I'm hoping that I'm actually putting some salary cap on him as well, and hoping that he can, deliver the goods for me and the cookies. He's going up against Port. Port, there's a lot going on, and I know as of recently they've been leaking a lot more points than they normally do to midfielders. So I'm hoping that Brayshaw can benefit the most because of that. We've seen at points this year he can explode, so he's got a really good ceiling. He's one of their main boys in there with Sarong, and I just can see him just running loose and rampant and scoring big. Yeah.
I think you said leaking points. I think they're leaking a lot more than just fantasy points. They're leaking points on the board everywhere. Just unfortunately, it's not going to plan with all the
injuries. As a Crows fan, I know you like to throw some jabs.
No jabs there. I'm just saying it.
They're
conceding a lot of points, and I think Freo are gonna cash in this week. So if Cow's tuning in, he won't be very happy. But one guy I'm fading is one of Cow's boys, Zach Butters. I'm just with the way Port are going at the moment, I just don't really want a part of it at the moment. Like Butters, as long as someone goes near him and tags him, Port probably don't have much else in midfield just because Horne-Francis is injured, Bergman's injured, Rosie's playing in defence, and he's probably going to have to stay defence because Burgoyne's also out for the season. So that's what I mean, right? It's not all Port's fault. They just keep getting injuries each week and to important players as well. And Butters will probably get O'Meara, who went to Hewitt last week. If it's not O'Meara, it might be Wagner if he's back in. So for me, I'm just fading for the time being until I can see a good score there. We do have a couple of comments here as well. So Mr. Manethium says that Collingwood Brisbane. He's that doesn't look like he's too happy about Collingwood Brisbane, but there you go. Oh no, he must be a Collingwood fan. That's John. That's right. Yeah, no, he's not very happy with the fact that Collingwood lost. That's for sure. Matt says hello, Matt. Hope you're going well, mate. And then Corey Blackledge, who tunes in every week, we love it. Says massive pod this week is Alex Neil-Bullen as a forward. Don't mind that shout against the Eagles. He's been very good the last 3 weeks. He's won the top couple of averaging forwards over the last 3 weeks. So
for sure,
something to have a look at. Moving over to the Sunday games, and we'll start off with GWS and North Melbourne. Mark, who are you keen on or not keen on?
Look, I'm fading one of two people, but I haven't decided yet. It's either going to be Sheasel or McKercher. One of the two is coming out of my side. I can't play two. Normally I've played both of them most weeks, but I can't play both of them against GWS. I don't think I feel like they won't get as, the role's not there as much. Yeah.
Where are you currently leaning towards? So it's currently now as we sit, are you Sheasel or McKercher?
Probably Sheasel, but that's just like my heart from last season. I think like the smart play is probably McKercher. I think in the last 5 rounds, he's probably averaged a decent amount more than Sheasel. But
yep,
yeah. What do you guys think?
We literally had the same conversation. Honestly, I was picking between Sheasel and McKercher beforehand. So I'm totally with you, mate. You've nailed the thought process for sure.
I'm Sheasel because I feel like we've been sitting here going he's not been going as well as he has because he's been the forward mid role and not getting all those +6s. But sneakily actually been really good. Like he's scored well. He's scored over 120 in 3 of his last 4. Actually, he might have even scored 120 plus in his last 4, if I'm not mistaken. Tom, I don't know if you have the scores there. I can't find them there, but I know he had a really good one last week with 137.
And 127 in back-to-back rounds. That's 125 plus, just 2 round sample size there.
Yeah, and his CBAs last week as well actually took an uptick because he'd normally been like anywhere from 3 to 8, like just sort of a guy that would float in there every now and again. But last week, CBAs, you had Teakle on 20, LDU 18, Sheasel had 16. So he's number 2 behind LDU, and then Wardlaw with 15, Parker with 10, Powell 6. So it was actually Tom Powell, the one that took the hit. And he went right down, and then Wardlaw back in. Parker took a bit of a decrease, and Sheasel benefited. So that'll be really interesting to see who goes well from here. Tom?
Yeah, I've sort of not only had this same thought that Mark's had for the pairing of Kanga's defenders, but I've also had it with the Giants as well. And I do think it's because I am, like Mark sort of alluded to, I'm having to take a couple of risks. And I think the easy play is to play both. And I'm really trying to nail some pointer differences with other squads. And I'm trying to pick the better of the two to then play another pod later on where I can sort of try to get the one up. So I've decided, and this was with consultation of you, Bales, before, that I think that player is going to be Lockie Whitfield. And I am going to put a silver salary cap on him as well. I feel like I'm putting a lot of salary cap in defenders because, like, I know it's easy and normally what you would think is I'll go to the midfielders, but the defenders have been the unsung heroes of this season so far. Like with Naz, Holmes, Whitfield, Ash has been killing it. Like there's actually a legitimate case to put less salary cap into your midfield and more into your defenders if you're hunting some of those good matchups. There's 2 that I already spoke about. I spoke about 1, and there's another that we'll speak about later that I'm definitely putting salary cap in the midfield. But I'm going a little different. I'm going Whitfield, and I'm going to start a silver.
Yep, I agree. I've currently got both of the Giants guys there as well. I think they'll both go well. But it'll be interesting to see if Constanti does a job. That's probably what I'm keen on and where he goes. But the player I'm fading, not happy with him. I've people that listen to our other pods throughout the week know this guy. And this is probably a rocket for him because I've got him in other formats and I want him to perform, but I'm fading him in GameDay Squad. There's no way I'm playing this guy in GameDay Squad. That's Tom Green. No way am I playing a guy that has 25. That, guys, just to put this into context, right? And I've used it for the AFL Fantasy point of view. I'm going to use it from GameDay Squad point of view. So last week, Tom Green had the Dogs, who he's played well against in the past, right? Has 25 touches and scores 81, right?
Wow.
My captain, Jordan Dawson, plays Hawthorn in a very hard matchup and doesn't have a very good first quarter, has 3 touches, but still 21 disposals, so 4 less touches, and scores 144. 63 points difference, and he has 4 touches less. That's just, it's pretty crazy, the difference between what is a good fantasy player and what's not. So Tom Green, we need you to actually get good at fantasy. So, but I'm fading you this week. He's not playing you. So I'm sure he's tuning in. He's listening to the Rocket and he's like, now start me and I'll go really well. But not this week, unfortunately. Tom, moving, and not you, Tom, on the show, Tom Green. Moving over to last 2 games around Melbourne and the Dogs. And Mark, who are you keen on or not keen on?
I think I'm keen on Kennedy. He's been a bit subpar he had such a great start to the season, dropped off a bit, but I think up against the Ds, he should carve.
Yeah, like that shout for sure. Tom?
Yeah, and
for sure. Good goal kicking upside as well. Love it. I've also got him in. I am going to, in this one, pick maybe someone that sort of comes into the squad based on the conversation we had before where I'm sort of picking between 2 defenders. I'm going to go Christian Salem. I think Salem could be in for a big game against the Doggies. I think there could be a lot of ball in the defense. We see him and Bowie. They love to kick to each other. They're sort of like almost like the Luke Ryan and Clark of last year. Not as damaging as that combo was. That was so good for fantasy, but they love to find each other. Salem will take a bulk of the kickouts. They just love to get it in his hands, and they're looking for him at any point. And in a game where, they're going to need him to step up and play well, I'm just hoping it's just a lot of opportunity to score, and it just equals a lot of points. So he did start off pretty well. He had 131 last week. I think he had like 90 at halftime. So he definitely had a really quiet second half. He had 105 the week before, but I'm really banking on a bit of a pod play here and someone who can explode in a game where I think there'll be a lot of opportunity too.
Yep. I don't mind that shout. Nice pod there as well. Player I'm keen on, and most weeks I'm keen on, except if Tom and Cal are in Adelaide and watching a Dogs game with me, and then he decides he's going to play really bad. But the big bad Bont, Marcus Bontempelli, I've got him in this week. He's in good form, and I think the most important thing to put with this as well is the fact the Dogs are chasing finals. Bont's going to be leading from the front like he always does. So he's had a really good last sort of couple of months, and I think he's going to go well again against the Ds. I think Oliver might play on him at times, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to go well regardless. And moving over to the final game, West Coast and Adelaide over at Optus Stadium. Mark, who are you keen on or not keen
on? There's someone I'm keen on, but I'm not game enough to play, and that's O'Brien. And
Big Rob, yeah.
Yeah, I just love that West Coast matchup for a ruck. The other one that's probably actually going to come in, though, is Riley Tilthorpe. I think he could get a bag and just go, one of those forwards who kicks like 8 and then, puts on 150, 160.
Yep, the Thil Seeker. Yep, I like the shout. Yep, I've definitely considered it, that's for sure. And as a Crow, I might have to put the Crow's glass on and put him into the squad. Tom, who are you keen on, not keen on?
I'm starting 2 players in this game. One was just mentioned. I had a pretty tough time picking. I think a forward is going to be a massive play. I know Corey said his pod is A and B this round, and it's pretty good. He's actually in pretty awesome form, just quietly himself. So not a bad shout.
Great pickup by the Crows.
Yeah. Give yourself a bit of flowers, eh? Look, I don't know. I
didn't sign him, but hey, I'll take it. I'm happy.
I don't know anyone else other than to give flowers to Jordan Dawson. And I guess like some concern will be what happens to him when they get on top, and do they rest him? Even if they rest him forward, like I could see him kicking a bag as well. So even if he is getting rested and he sort of does that, which he does do, he'll go forward and play a bit easier. There's still opportunity for him to score big. So Jordan Dawson, I'm pretty positive on, even with the chance that he goes forward and rests for part of the game.
Yeah. Oh, you took my player. There you go.
Sorry.
It happens once in that one's episode. But you took my boy, Jordan Dawson. Yeah. When you're only having 21 touches and you can still score over 140 GameDay Squad points, yeah, I want you in my GameDay Squad. Simple as that. Like, because if he has it, so he actually played West Coast earlier this season. I believe it was it round 3? No, round 5, maybe. I'm just trying to find. Let me find this because the stats I wanted to reference here. So Jordan Dawson played West Coast in round 11. Okay, well I was completely off, but that's fine. Round 11. He had 164 GameDay Squad points, 27 touches, 6 marks, 9 tackles, kicked a couple of goals. I think he's in for some good form, and he's not someone that normally. He's only had 2 games this year over 30 touches. But when he does get a lot of the ball, that's when we can see those massive, massive scores. So I think Dawson's in for a good game. But I'll say Isaac Rankin. This could be a game where he actually scores quite well, like with Riley Thilthorpe. I think it's a good shout. I think Neil Bullen could be a pod, but I also think Rankin, if you want to go there as well. He's probably the safer one, you'd probably say, guys, with the higher average. People are just going to go, highest average Rankin West Coast this week. So I think he could be a decent shout. But I guess the only flag with all the players we've actually mentioned, all 4 of them, is that wouldn't be shocked if any of them went to the bench for the last 10 minutes and rested if the Crows are up by enough. But
100%.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah, or just not named as well.
Yeah, rested. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, there might be a couple. I think Tex might be rested, but I think most will play. But yeah, good shout for sure. We'll quickly go through our locks and fades of the week. So, Mark, I might give you a little bit of time to think about your lock and fade away, unless you've got it there for us already.
No, yeah. No, you go.
Okay, go. So, Tom, your lock of the week.
Yeah. Look, I've been banging his drum for a while. I'm going to keep doing it. He's got the most salary cap on my squad at the moment. It's the Ruck Pig, man. He's so good. Like, he's just such a safe play. He's so good to get in the squad. If you want to put a bit of salary cap on, do it. If you don't and you just want to play the bronze, you'll just get rewarded either way, in all honesty. I just think it's one of those things that I tried to overthink last week when I should have just looked at the form and go, it's a layup. Just put it in. So I'm not going to think about it this one. Brodie Grundy is absolutely the start of the round, and that's not because of a matchup. That's just because of pure form and what the eye is seeing on the weekend. So,
yeah, I like this. Yeah, really like that. Obviously, talked about him when we were going through that game. My lock of the week. It's probably hard because I think a lot of the locks of the weeks are sort of low hanging fruits. So I'm going to say Nasiah into Richmond. It's
Richmond,
like in terms of, and I'll say lock of the week in terms of locks of salary on him. That's probably what I'll say. Like, everyone's got him, but make sure you have the salary on them, because Richmond, don't see anyone that'll be able to go with him. I think he goes well, so he'll be my lock of the week. And Mark, your lock of the week.
Yeah, I think my lock's going to be Jez Cameron. I think against Essendon, he'll get a bag. I think his teammates are going to be looking for him to get his goal numbers up this week as well. So I just see him kicking 10.
Yeah. Well, you saw that, Mark, last week, right? With the two handballs, Stanley and Dangerfield were just like, here you go, Cameron, here's the goal. So I think they're going to be doing that a lot and trying to get him those 100 goals as soon as possible.
So 24 to go. So there's a big week this week will go a long way for him.
Yep, exactly right. And fade of the week, Tom.
Oh, it's hard because I'm fading some really good players, but it's definitely not a form thing. It's because I need to be a little different, I guess. Let me think of a good fade of the round. I've got mine.
If
you go first.
If you want to think about
it.
Mine's Zach Merritt. I'm not. He was my fade of the week last week with James Jordan, but he's got Geelong this week. We saw exactly what Mullen did to Zach Butters last week, and I think he'll stand next to Merritt. And I think people go, they're playing Essendon, they're going to tag, but they probably want to get Mullen ready for some of these jobs in the finals, because there's going to be plenty of jobs that he'll be doing. So, for me, I'm not looking at Zach Merritt. Plus, he's got no help, right? So I'm just not keen to play him there. Tom, you thought about yours yet? We're going to Mark.
Yeah, I have. It's going to be a doggies midfielder. You spoke about the big bad Bont. I absolutely agree. Get him in. Someone that I think people might look towards, because the matchup against Melbourne is really good for mids over the season, is Ed Richards. But if you just have a look at some of the numbers over the past couple of rounds, he's really not got that ceiling that we saw, at round 10, we were talking about him as one of the best starts you can possibly have. And at the time, I guess he was considered a bit of a pod, but he's definitely regressed. The past two games in particular, he's had 101 and 120, so nothing really eye-popping. There are a lot of really good options this round as well. Like, we haven't talked about any of the Lions mids. Like, Dunkley's playing really good footy again. Like, Claggage is great. We've already spoken about a lot of mids as well. Like, I just wouldn't be looking at the matchup too much for this, and I would be looking elsewhere. So fade of the round is going to be Ed Richards.
Yep, like that shout. Mark, your fade of the week.
Yeah, I think this is a fade that I probably should have faded a couple of weeks ago, but it's Zorko. I think I've been sitting on him a couple of weeks too long. And it just needs to You
just see the average, and it's just the play at the start of the year, and you think, it might still be worth it just getting him in. That's the
thing. Yeah. And there's just a lot of decent options sitting around there that could be coming in. So, I think Noble, we touched on earlier, I think he comes in.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the biggest thing there before we wrap this up is, like, he's had his past couple of weeks in kick-ins, he's had 1, 1, and 3. Like, and we saw rounds earlier where he was getting 7, 5, 5, 8 all in a row in weeks. So when you've got that sort of floor being lowered, it's really hard to get him in and start him and be more confident. So I'm with you there 100%, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. Just quickly, I'll mention as well another guy. I don't love this one. I forgot to mention him in the Brisbane game. A few people saying with Lockie Neal out, that you might be going for Hugh McCluggage. I don't know if I'll be going there this week. Sydney, James Jordan, because Lockie Neal's not there, we're going straight to Hugh McCluggage. So I think that that was someone I just thought I'd quickly mention before we did wrap up. But we'll quickly on the screen chuck up our squads. So I'll get Tom's squad up on the screen and we'll chat about that as we end off the show. There it is, and it's just loading. Should be up in 3, 2, 1. Bang. No, we're half a second off. Yep. That's fine. So, Tom, talk us through your squad.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Pretty vanilla backline. I guess up until she's on, I've gone Dale, Salem, Noble. So I'm really targeting that matchup with the Doggies and Melbourne. I think there could be really good points for both of those defenders. And Noble under the roof is going to be pretty solid as well. Dawson, Brayshaw, and Goulden. I have changed. This is an older photo. So just so you know, I have put Marshall in over the big X there at ruck. So when I was talking about that before and didn't mention the big X who should be coming back, just mentally change that. But the midfield stays the same there. I'm really keen on all these players. You can see the salary cap on who I'm more excited about and has that upside. And the forward line is Geelong themed with a bit of Doggy sprinkled in there, Jackson and Riley Philthorpe for that upside of kicking a bag. So that's who I'm rolling with for the round, mate. Pretty keen for it.
I'm still jealous about when I see Bailey Smith and I see the purple around it and knowing that's a prize card, mate. So
funny you say that.
What you don't know, there's only one other person that has this card, and he's currently in the call with you.
Oh, fantastic. Cal, you know, because Mark and Tom are on with us, you need to give me a Bailey Smith prize card this year. I'll chuck my squad up on the screen now as well. And Mark, if you want to get the web page up with GameDay Squad, if you'd like to show your squad, you don't have to show your squad. But if you'd like to, feel free. But this is my squad for the round coming up. So my salary hasn't been I haven't locked in my salary yet. It's sort of sprinkled around, and I'm probably going to change a couple. But yes, and Nasai's got the salary there. Obviously, Whitfield, Ash, obviously got some salary on Holmes with the matchup. Sheasel, Sinclair, Noble. Got that all-star day cost, so that's my flex out of that. So you guys have got your Bailey Smith prize card. I got my Nick Dacos all-star, so I'll flex that one there. Jordan Dawson, got the salary on him there as well. Bont, Dunkley. I think Dunkley's form's been really, really good and had a good game against the Swans earlier this year, along with Brayshaw. And then Matt Rao got some salary on him, but that may change. I just put it there for the time being, but I might put that on like a Brody Grundy, I think, instead. So, Grundy, Marshall, then Baz got the salary, Kennedy, Myers, Jackson, Cozzy, who's your boy, Tom, for a lot of the year, but I've got him in this week, and you don't. Then got Manor and Cameron. So I've got the 4 Geelong forwards. So loading up there this week. So, Mark, if we got if you screen share it to me, I might be able to show it on the screen if you like. That might make it a bit easier. Don't know if the option might be there, should be there for you. Oh, there we go. And we'll chuck up on the screen here. This is Mark's squad for the week. So, Mark, take it away and run us through.
Yeah, so it's only a few changes I've made this week. Obviously, I've got the 4 Geelong boys up front as well, with Jackson,
lovely,
Rankin, and Kennedy. I've gone Gawn, over Marshall, which may change still. I don't really think there's too many controversial picks there. What do you guys think?
No, it's good. I'm just wondering if you're going to put Nank in. You mentioned Nank. I was wondering if you're going to put the big Nank in.
I kind of want to put Nank and Marshall in. Just get it over and done with in one game.
I know exactly what you're saying is, Tom, we need you to pass on the cow, but we need 4 or 5 ruck spots. That's what we need.
Yep.
Take away the forward spots, get like 3 forwards, and then have another 3 rucks. That's what we need.
Yep.
Because there's so many rucks, it's hard every week. But I like the salary cap distribution there as well, mate. That's the classic side as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's a classic side. So I think it's one of the first weeks I've started playing bronze midfielders because there's just so many other options outside of the midfield now.
Yeah. For sure.
Exactly.
And that's Smith price card, mate. Look at it in all of its glory, Bales.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, mate. Thank you for telling me that.
Stay out of my DMs.
Well, hopefully I get a prize card of my own this year and I can get a good one. So we'll have to see how that goes for the rest of the year. But that'll do us for another GameDay Squad preview show. But Mark, thank you very much for jumping on with us, mate. It's been a really
thanks for having me.
chat. where can the Pill find you across the socials?
Yeah, so over at the GameDay Society, so on Instagram, X, website as well. Also in the GameDay Squad Discord, pretty active in there. So yeah, jump in.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, mate, for jumping on. Tom, mate, where can the Pill find you? Thanks for jumping on once again.
No worries. Me, you can find me on X at TommyGDS. Mark didn't give himself enough flowers. He's taking the official AFLW and EPL shows for the season. So if you like Bales and myself and you just love fantasy sports and you want to get involved and you want that analysis, check out the GameDay Society. They're going to be given some of the best content, especially because it's GameDay Squad specific. So if you really want to nail where to put the salary cap and have the conversations that we've been having today for Aussie rules, but for these other sports, he's definitely the man and where to go to. So get there. But for me, you already know the X and then any of the GameDay Squad socials. We're around. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's an awesome place where you can talk with other coaches. You can talk trades, all that good stuff. Show off your good packs. It's a really active community, and we would love to have you there if you haven't joined already. That's about it, Bales. How about yourself, mate? Where can everyone find you?
Yep. You can find me at BAILSDT across the socials and us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. I'll be back for all the usual content throughout the week, as we always are. And next week, obviously, AFLW starts, which is really exciting. I think Premier League starts next week as well. So really, really looking forward to that. And, yep, hopefully another big week for everyone out there in GameDay Squad. Hopefully you guys can smash out a big score and have all your pods go really well, and you can have a good score. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. And we'll catch you guys same time, same place next week for another GameDay Squad show. So thanks, everyone, and have a good weekend. Enjoy the footy. See ya.